Hi everybody. Today we're going to multiply with decimals. So we're going to do a problem together, and this first one is 45 times 1 and 2/10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually multiply like I would with whole numbers. So I'm going to change the 1 and 2/10 by multiplying it by 10 so that we don't have a decimal. And then at the end, I'm going to have to do something because I am taking away the decimal. So I'm not really taking it away, but I'm multiplying it by 10. And what that does, if I had 1 and 2/10, because I'm multiplying it by 10, that shifts the digits to the left on the place value chart, making each one 10 times bigger. So the 1 in the ones place is going to move to the tens place. The 2 in the tenths place moves to the ones place. So now I have 12. So 1 and 2/10 times 10 gives me 12. So I'm going to go ahead and just do an area model, multiplying 45 times 12. So when I do this, remember I draw my boxes, and I'm going to split up 45 into 40 and 5, and then 12 into 10 and 2. So 10 times 40 gives me 400. 10 times 5 is 50, and then 2 times 40 gives me 80. 2 times 5 gives me 10. So then I'm going to add all this together, and I like just adding it in groups to make it easier. So 400 plus 50 is 450. 80 plus 10 gives me 90. Then I add these two together, and then 9 and 5 gives me 14. So I'll carry the 1. Now I have 540. But I'm not finished because remember at the beginning I multiplied by 10. So now I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to divide by 10. So if I put 540 on this place value chart, when I divide by 10, I do the opposite. Instead of moving to the left, I move to the right. So each digit is 1/10 the size when we're dividing. So I'm going to start here at the back with the 0 in the ones place, and whenever I shift to the right, it goes to the tenths place. And then each digit just follows behind it. And so if I look up here where my decimal point is, I end up with 54. So my final answer is actually 54. Because remember here it was 10 times bigger since we multiplied by 10. But I wanted my exact answer 45 times 1 and 2/10, so I would get 54. Now we're going to try one more. This time I've got 1 and 43/100 times 13. So I'm going to do the same thing, but since I've got two places after the decimal point in the hundredths, I'm going to multiply it by 100. So if I put this number on the place value chart, 1 in the 43/100, and then I shift it this time two places since I'm multiplying by 100. So instead of just moving over one place, I move it two places to the left, making it 100 times bigger. So that puts the 1 in the ones place in the hundreds place, and then everything follows behind it. So I have 143. So I'm going to now set up another area model. So I'm going to do 143 times 13. So 140 and 3. And then I'm going to multiply that by 13. And if you want to finish out this area model, you can solve it like this. I'm going to go ahead and do the algorithm because we haven't done the algorithm in a while. So I'm going to remind you of how to do the algorithm. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 3 to get 9. Then 3 times 4 gives me 12. And remember, this is actually multiplying 3 times 40. So, but if we're doing the algorithm, this keeps everything lined up because now I'm in the tens place. So 3 times 4 is 12. I carry the 1. 3 times 1 is going to be 3, plus the 1 is 4. And then the most important thing when we're doing this is to keep everything lined up based on place value. So since I'm now going to multiply by the 1 that's in the tens place, I'm multiplying by 10. I put a 0 before I start, and that's going to keep everything lined up. So when I do 10 times 3, which is 30, I can just think of it as 1 times 3 and put my 3 here because it's in the right place value. 1 times 4, 1 times 1. And so now I've got my 2 partial products that I would have if I did the area model. So I can add this together and I get 1,859. But I have to remember this is 100 times too much. So I'm going to refer back to my place value chart. And since I'm running out of room here and I don't even have it to the thousandth place, we'll just look at this because you can do it without a place value chart. And I'm going to shift everything, since I'm going to divide by 100, I'm going to shift everything to the right. So that's making it 1/100th of the size. So when I do that, I end up getting 18 and 59/100ths when everything is shifted to the right. And you may notice a pattern with this that we will talk about some later on, but I do want you to know why it works out this way. And that's because at the beginning we multiplied by 100 and that gave us an answer that was 100 times too much, so we had to divide by 100. So my final answer is 18 and 59/100ths. And our mystery word of the day is going to be friendship. So here's some string to make some friendship bracelets. So friendship is our mystery word of the day, and I think it may even say friendship thread on here. So you'll have some practice problems, so do your best.